Folks, look at the power couple we have on screen. We have Millennial Mike and Dion, and they are both in Gary, Indiana. Yes, folks, Gary, Indiana is a place where Michael has been investing for quite a while. Dion jumped on a plane with him to go look at a triplex that Michael just closed. We're going to get Dion's thoughts. We're going to talk about investing in cheap markets, and we're just going to see where this goes. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. I had to bring Dion because Gary's such a dangerous city. I need another conflict backup.
Dion, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Actually, we're very comfortable here. I haven't heard any shots this morning because we're not in Gary. Our Airbnb is just outside. And we brought Darius, an actual current security guard, to be our protection.
I can't believe the both of you. Oh, never mind. We're not going there. Not going there. So, Mike, why don't we kind of lead off? I think it was on Facebook. You just closed on a triplex, which was really the impetus to get out to Gary. Why don't you tell us about what you found? What's the plan for it? The numbers, and then we'll get into Dion's thoughts on the city and all of that. What'd you find?
Yeah, so I got a triplex. It's 3 separate 2-bed, 1-bath units. I was able to pick it up for $64,000. I think I'm going to put about $40,000 into it, so I'll be right in, under 110 grand. Have an after repair value of 160. My plan is to do the Burr strategy, to do a cash out refinance on the back end. It'll cash flow exceptionally well. I think that it's a beautiful building. It's just in the wrong city. That being said, it's a great building. People will rent out of it. I'll partner with the government. I'll partner with Section 8, who I like to work with. I've had a good success with them, as have you, as have Dion. And yeah, Dion's been out there to see it. So he'll say whether or not he thinks it's all right.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit, because again, a lot of people will hear 64,000 for a triplex and maybe fall out of their chair. Was this brought to you because of your network? Was it in the MLS? How'd you find such a rock bottom price on a triplex?
So that's a great question. I do for this one, I do what you do and what you have taught forever, which is look at your buy box every single day. And so I've had deals brought to me off market from my network. From this one, I saw it come on the market the day it came on. I had an offer in on it that evening.
Yes,
and if I hadn't, it would have been gone. Because, and as you know, Mike and Dion, when the good deals pop up, they are not there for long. They are gone very quickly.
That's the key to this whole thing, and that's why daily discipline works. That's why. Did you pay list price? So I
offered list because it was exceptionally good. And there's some unique challenges with Gary. When you see a property with no pictures of the interior, usually you go, oh, it's one of those.
It's one of those. Yeah.
So, but I'll put the offer in sight unseen, contingent on inspection. And I don't just do a home inspection. I get property managers through there, real estate agents through there. I get contractors to walk it and give me a full bid repair estimate, as well as the home inspector. So I have my entire project done before I even think of going to closing. I know what my costs are going to be. And so I put it in there, a contingent on inspection. After the inspection, I knocked it down it was listed at 67.5. I got it down to 64. So just cover some of those base closing costs, things like that, a little bit of the electrical work. But really, it was I would have bought it for 90. It's such a good deal. So.
And the last question before we go to Dion, was it vacant or rented?
So it was listed with one tenant in it, which actually was another good sign, because I'm sitting there saying, oh, someone's living in it. It must be operable. But they were moving out and it closed vacant, like a best case scenario.
There you go. All right, Dion. So you jump on a plane, go to Gary, Indiana. You probably have you probably read about it. Gary, Indiana has some not glowing headlines over the last decade or so. What'd you see when you got there? You started driving around?
So one thing you can notice here when you see Gary is that there's a lot of vacant buildings, a lot of abandoned houses, a lot of places with boards on the windows, right next to properties where investors are doing what Mike is doing. And they're buying, they're rehabbing, and they're renting out, because the shift has been in the last couple of years, more remote working than ever. 45 minutes from Chicago, there's a big BP oil refinery here. So there is work. It's one of those things that really pointed out clear to me two things. First, if I buy a duplex in Washington State with a 20% down investor loan, I'm going to invest about $100,000. I'll probably make about $1,500 a month in profit. Mike's doing the same. He's putting, 64,000 into it, or to buy it, 40,000 to rehab it. He'll have a triplex. He'll be making about $1,500 a month based on the numbers with Section 8 tenants. So there could be better average rents later when more of the units in the area are updated. So the second thing it makes me think of is anytime somebody says real estate is not affordable, and they usually say because investors are buying places. Well, when you go into a place like this, and I'm making a short later today where there's like 5 houses in this one section, 3 of them are empty. So the houses are probably $30,000 to $50,000, and you probably put $30,000 to $50,000 into it. So houses are affordable. It's just people don't want to live here. They want it to be affordable in San Diego and pick up a $100,000 house. That's not what's going to happen. I see the benefit to doing it the way Mike is. I like my format a little better with the self-managing local. The appreciation is a big factor, but we couldn't count on that. If we went back 3 years and said 100,000 here, 100,000 here, both are going to make 1,500, be the same deal. We look at it 3 years later with hindsight, we go, yeah, okay, so this one doubled in price and this one went up 20% in price. So it is a significant, difference there, but the demand is here. Like there are Section 8 tenants lined up to do this that don't have units, that are on waiting lists. The waiting list is canceled. You can't even get on the waiting list because it's so long because they don't have enough units. So every time an investor comes in, buys a place, puts the money, the time, energy, and effort into making it, a decent place again, it's actually helping a lot of people. So I think it's a great strategy. I think it works out great for Mike. I'm actually on the fence. I'm going to go to Portugal and probably buy a property. And if I don't buy a property, I'm going to come back. I will look at both Indiana and Washington and use your strategy of best yield, best asset, make the decision, buy the property, and not be stuck. And anybody watching saying, well, he's just going to pick another market. Of course I am, because I'm going to stand on his coattails, use his systems, his contractors, his property managers, have that trusted boots on the ground thing. That's what you need if you're going to be going to a new market. And since it's in place, it's attractive.
Yeah. So let's kind of deal with the elephant in the room. Again, most people, $64K for a triplex. Again, people will probably fall out of their chair, pull over their cars when they hear things like this. And I've always said you can go broke buying cheap. There are probably lots of $64,000 triplexes in Gary, Indiana that you don't want.
Yes.
Right. It's not like because again, that's what people hear these numbers and they don't realize. And I'm just going to make up numbers. Let's say there's 10 triplexes sprinkled around Gary, Indiana at $64,000. I am willing to bet that 8 of them will lose money. They're in the wrong spot, near the wrong thing, whatever. But that also means if you do the freaking work, you get on a plane, you go see it, you have diligent processes of contractors, agents, managers walk through it, people that are on the hook after, you could de-risk some of that. But too many investors don't do the work. They're like, dude, 64 grand's less than my Tesla. Let's buy it. Why does that make it a good deal? So
yeah, it is important to look at your market every day, because I can tell you right now, if you look on realtor.com or Zillow, you look at Gary, Indiana, you're going to see between 19 to 22 multifamily units. Most of them are going to be 2 to 4 unit buildings. Anything on 11th Street, you stay away from. Anything on Van Buren Street, you stay away from, because those streets are abandoned. Everything on there is abandoned, and they're smart. They won't list the entire street at once. They're hoping if they list 1 or 2, then people won't make the jump to assume that everything there is awful. And if you have not done the 6 months of looking at the market daily and calling on these properties and having your team go out and look at them to then report back to you that that street is garbage, avoid it, you will fall prey to what Mike just said, which is you'll buy the wrong $64,000 triplex in the wrong area. You have to do the research and spend the time, or you will go broke buying cheap.
Yeah. Dion, any thoughts? You've now spent some time there again. Did you ever feel unsafe? You're a big guy, trained, so maybe you never feel that way. But Gary, Indiana, it's not, it's not Seattle, not Bellevue.
No, there are places in Tacoma that are much worse than Gary, Indiana. There are areas, there's an entire strip of about 4 roads next to McKinley Avenue in Tacoma, where a fourplex like mine will go for 1.6 million. There are fourplexes there for 800,000, 850,000 that will absolutely lose money. have everything stolen out of it every few months, have tenant turnover because nobody can live there. Their car gets vehicle prowled every couple of weeks. So I think there's good and bad areas everywhere. And I want to say 80% of the areas in Tacoma, I would buy and own in around Tacoma. 50% of the areas in and around Gary, I would own.
There you go.
So it's a sliding scale of
Sure.
availability. So it takes a little more work, I think, in Gary to have those systems in place. And it might be because I live near Tacoma and I can just drive to the area. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and again, Gary, Indiana's got some bad headlines, but I think Mike has shared this on the channel several times. There's always investors making money in different areas. There's always a need. If that's what you want to do, again, I would tell you, get your ass on a plane and go see it. Like both of you gentlemen are there. But it certainly can work. I think too many people get lost in the spreadsheet math and don't add the layers of protection and security and de-risk it. That's what you heard Mike talk about earlier. That's what you heard Dion talk about is, doing the work, the relationships, all of that. Dion, closing thoughts, and then we'll go to Mike.
So when we talk about doing the work, I want you to actually understand, I'm giving credit to our friend Darius, right? Darius owns a duplex. He's starting out. He's just getting his feet under him as an investor. He's here. He's looking at the market.
Darius, come on camera, man. Let's see you.
Come wave.
Get the makeup crew.
Hey.
Darius, congratulations on your duplex. I'm great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what'd you buy? How much? Come on, give me some
I
numbers.
have two in Indiana. Dion's telling me to buy a duplex right now. I have a single family that I bought like maybe 5 months ago. It's 67, I think. And I have
Nice.
a 2 brick for 66. They like
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice work, Darius. You got to
Appreciate
give him a
it.
card. Did I send him a
Well, I
card?
have 2 cards right in my room.
2 cards.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Woo!
Don't worry.
Awesome. I like it. I like it.
So I'm doing the same thing with Darius of, investing in Gary is great. Mike did it. Add a house hack. Then the strategy becomes brilliant like Mike's. And so he's looking at that next.
Yeah, get a house hack, get in for 3.5%, 5% down. Oh, I like that. I like it. Darius is in your neck of the woods, or where? Darius, where you at?
He's Federal Way. He's sat back. He's in Federal Way, which is another Tacoma area, Seattle
Okay,
area.
so he's
city,
on the West Coast. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Mike, closing thoughts. You happy with your triplex?
I am. So we had a contractor who came and gave me the initial bid, came back out yesterday to explain to me everything that's going to be done. We went over each separate room, took video of everything that he's going to do. I took my before video. And I really think that there's unique opportunities and also unique challenges in a city like Gary. You cannot just assume that it's going to be like some other market, or assume because you've invested somewhere else you can do it successfully here. I'm not saying I have any like special skill or ability. I don't. I just took the time to learn what works here. And if you learn what works here, you can be successful. But yes, please, this video was not meant to encourage people to just jump in and, oh, buy it. No, it's meant to encourage you to build a team. Build a team, build a network, talk to other people. That's how you're successful.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Safe travel home. Have fun. Later.